Welcome to Chapter 3, Part 3B, Scratch. We're going to go into our Scratch account. I assume you still have yours open, but if you don't, make sure you log back in. And I'm going to go to My Stuff, right? Just so we can do a little review here. We're going to go into the Untitled where it says See Inside. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the three categories here at the top. We have Script, and the script is largely a collection or stack of blocks that are all interlocked with one another, and they determine how a sprite interacts with each other and the backdrop. You have costumes, and costumes are a collection of different types of costumes or outfits that can be applied to your sprite character. And then you have sounds, and these sounds are a collection of built-in sounds, or you can upload music and apply it to the Scratch project as well. So let's look at our script. If you notice under our script, there are 10 categories. We have motion, look, sound, pen, data, events, control, sensing, operators, and more blocks. The events, we're going to click on those first. The events are color-coded brown. They're used to sense events that trigger scripts to run. For example, if I drag in when clicked, this will start my script character moving whenever the green flag is clicked. All right, and then I also have my broadcast blocks. So when I receive message, I'm just going to drag these out, and you're going to see that when I receive message, then we're going to broadcast that message. And these two are used together. They trigger an action of a sprite. So if we want the sprite to do something, we can trigger an action. So these two go together is what I'm saying. And I'm going to get rid of this right now. I guess you just drag it off now. They got rid of the can. So if I put this here, when I receive this message, then if I add another sprite, which if I go over here, it says new sprite, I can go in and add another sprite. I'm just going to do this really quick. And then on Anna, I can bring in broadcast the message and wait. All right. And when I do that, I'm going to also have to have the when the flag clicked. So these two have to go together. So however your sprite character starts, this one starts with a click. Anna needs to start with a click as well. So that gives you some examples of the events. So you have when the sprite is clicked, you can also bring out the when space pressed. You have a whole bunch of different keys and stuff that you can use to move your objects. All right, let's click on control. I'm going to go back to my first sprite. Control, you use these are kind of color-coded gold. They're used to control your script. You can bring in a wait. So what it'll do is a wait a second. You can click inside there and you can change that to 10 if you want. Wait 10 seconds. So you can use your wait icon. Our looping blocks are the repeat and the forever. These two definitely loop. And your if then also loops. And then repeat until also loops. These are your loops. And what loops do is they just keep telling an action to keep repeating itself. And the number of times that you put up in there is the number of times it will repeat. Forever means it just keeps going. And then if then is when you're going to use your if then or else statements. All right, let's go to our motion. And our motion blocks are medium blue, and they're used to control our sprite's movement. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this sprite. I want to get out of that. Sorry. Let's go in here. If I want my sprite character to start here, so I'm going to get rid of a lot of this stuff. These are all practice stuff, and you just drag them to get rid of them. All right, so when clicked, I want my sprite character to start here and move over here. So I'm going to find my start. My start is here. So I'm going to say, where is it? I'm going to have him glide, but I have to make sure I give him a point of starting. So I am going to um, go to, all right, because that's his start. Oops, I want to go up here. Go to, get this out of the way. Go to, and then I want him to move to here. Well, then I'm going to come down and get my glide because it's already changed the X and Y, attach it. And then if I click on he will start and move. So, and then when I start it again, you notice he always starts at the same place. All right. So it's because I set the beginning part of it. Then I can have him, if I go to my control, I can have him wait a second. And then I can go back to my motion and I can say, I want him to start where he's at right now, right? So we're going to take this, and then I want him to move over here. So I'm going to have him glide again. So one clicked. There you go. Now, because he's hitting the wall, I can say if on edge, bounce. So let's try it again. Then he turns and bounces. All right. And then if I go to my eye icon and click on it, I can say I want him to, his rotation, I don't want him to rotate. So by clicking on the arrow here, it will stop his rotation. So when clicked, all right, so, and then you can fix how to turn it around. So we also have the looks, so we can add customs or we can have him talk. So let's say after he turns around, we want him to think. So let's go ahead and hit the flag, pauses, and he bounces off, and then he speaks. All right, so you can have them switch costumes, you can have them switch backgrounds. So those are the different things that you can do with the looks icon. As far as the sound goes, you can have him play sound. So let's try it now. So he pauses, he bounces, then he meows. Your sensing icons categories right here allows you to do different things with the sprite character. We're not really going to go into them, but your sensing is color coded light blue and are used to detect different factors of the project. Sensing is often used in a game. For example, if a ball hits a certain color, it can change direction. So that's how you kind of use those. Operators, if we go down to operators, they are color coded green. And you can add, subtract, divide, and multiply. You can pick random numbers, and you can add text strings. You also have your pen. Your pen color coded is dark green. You can draw shapes. You can plot color pixels, et cetera, et cetera. You can draw lines, dots, rectangles, circles. So it's fun to kind of play with these. And then your more blocks, you can actually create blocks yourself, and these would be dark purple, and they hold the custom procedures. So if you can make a block, and you say, let's say you want it to jump, you can type in jump, click OK, and then you have defined his jump, and then I can drag in jump, and then you go ahead and play it, and it works. You have to play around with those a little bit more. So you can have him jump over objects. You can have him glide over objects. You also have your data, and this is where you can make a variable. And so you can make a variable or you can make a list. All right, so that largely looks at our 10 categories. Then we have costumes. The costumes allows you to add costumes. If you go up here, you can choose from the library, you can paint your costumes, and you can upload costumes as well. And you can also add new customs from a camera. So you can go ahead and explore that category. And then the last one is our sounds category. And sound is you can allow add music. You can either create your music. You notice I have the meow in there, so it's getting the sound. But you also can choose from the library. You can also record a sound, and you can also upload a sound. So that largely summarizes our basic and Scratch. Just remember that if you take anything offline or you take any images from music or images, they either have to be public domain or they have to be Creative Commons. You can also create your characters in Google Drawing and then upload them here to Scratch too. So this is largely a quick summary of Scratch. The best way to deal with Scratch is just to go in and explore it. So right now, you will get a worksheet that will tell you what to do for your first Scratch character. So have a great time creating your Scratch characters.